Guys and girls, this is Wager Detective here, July 3rd, 2026. Tomorrow, America, the beautiful, 250 years old, beautiful hot weekend here in New Jersey. We're going to get into this cap between the Cardinals and the Cubs. I know on the screen it says 71% rain, but I did look into weathercast for Wrigley, and I think the rain is dying now, and as we get closer to game time, the sun's going to start to come out in this game. So this game looks like it's going to be a go. All right, so Cardinals versus Cubs. Before we get into this, be sure to follow Wager Detective on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, leave comments on all the platforms. Wager Detective loves all his fans, man, out there, present and future. Wager Detective always on a mission to show why he's one of the best cappers in the world. And the Wager Detective report going up on Twitter and YouTube daily. Let's get into this cap. The Cardinals versus the Cubs. Cardinals are the underdog here, plus 110. Cubs coming back at minus 130. The over/under on this game is 10.5, minus 118 to the over. If we look at the Cardinals, they are 4-5 in their last 9 versus the Cubs, minus 19 run differential, and they are 2-8 in their last 10. At Chicago, a minus 41 run differential. They're 1-7 against the spread. The Cardinals are in those 8 losses. When they do lose in their last 10, in those 8 losses out of their last 10 at Wrigley, they're 1-7 against the spread, plus that 1.5 in the losses. So, and minus 41 run differential. And overall, in their last 9, again, Cardinals 4-5, minus 19 run differential. If we look at the Cardinals in road day games this year, they're only 7-9. They're plus 1 in the run differential department. The Cardinals are 5-5 in their last 10. They're 7-2 in extra inning games and 15-11 in one-run games. Small ball team, historically, they can win those close games. So Cardinals, again, road day games this year, 7-9, plus 1 run differential. In 16 road day games this year, they have scored 5+ in 8 of those games, and their opponents have scored 5+ in 8 of those 16 contests as well. If we look at the Cardinals' last 9 overall, they are 4-5, minus 8 run differential. In the Cardinals' last 9 games, they've scored 3.33 runs a game to 4.22 for their opponents. In the Cardinals' last 9 games, they've only scored 5+ 2 times. They scored 2 or less 4 times. In the Cardinals' last 9 games, their opponents have scored 5+ 4 times and only scored 2 or less 2 times. So all these are big major advantages for the Cubs. If we look at the Cardinals against the division, they are 12-8 against the division, plus 8 run differential, 7 over and 13 under in their division games this year. They're scoring 4.9 runs a game to 4.5 for their opponents. They've scored 5+ 12 times out of their 20 divisional games. Their opponents have scored 5+ 12 times as well in those 20 divisional games. This is going to be the situational angle for this game is going to be city to city with no rest. And in this year, the Cardinals are 0-3, losing 8-9, losing 3-5, and losing 6-9. In those 3 games, they are minus 6 run differential, but they are scoring 5.66 runs a game. The unfortunate part is their opponents are scoring 7.66 runs a game. So if we look at that aspect of it, good against the division this year, 12-8, 4-5 in their last 9, minus 8 run differential, and they're 7-9 in road day games this year, plus 1 differential, even though they're 2 games under 500 there. And in their division games, they swept the Pirates in a 4-game series. They swept Cincinnati, and they were swept at Milwaukee. So looks like the Cardinals are doing good versus Cincinnati and the Pirates. They were swept at Milwaukee, and I think the Cubs are the better echelon team as far as more closer to Milwaukee than they are Cincinnati and the Pirates. Even though all that whole division's probably got some of the brightest stars in baseball as far as hitters and guys that can hit home runs. But again, city to city, no rest. They are 0-3 this year. Now on the mound is going to be Andre Palante. The Cardinals are 4-1 in his last 5 starts, plus 7 run differential. Last 5 starts for Palante, 1 over, 4 under. In his last 5 starts, Palante has a 3.16 ERA, 1.02 WHIP, and he's only given up 1 home run in his last 5 starts. So that's a pretty good sign going against this Cubs team that can hit guys like CPA, Horner, and Bush, and Happ, and those guys. So on the year, the Cardinals, they're 10-6 when Palante starts, plus 7 run differential there, 5 over and 11 under in Palante starts this year. In all his starts this year, Palante does have a 3.83 ERA. He's given up 9 home runs in 89 and a third, and he's got a 1.23 whip. In his road results this year, pretty good too. Palante and the Cardinals are 5-1 when Palante starts on the road this year. Plus 16 run differential, 3 over and 3 under. In his 6 games started this year on the road for Palante, he does have a 2.72 ERA, a 1 whip, and he's only given up 1.09 home runs per 9. Very good. But when he starts on the road, and when he starts in any day game this year, the Cardinals are 1-3, minus 5 run differential. In his day games this year, he's got a 4.96 ERA, 1.31 whip, and he is giving up 1.5 home runs per 9. If we look at Palante, he is going to be on 5 days rest this year, and when he pitches on 5 days rest this year, the Cardinals are 6-3, 4 over and 5 under. In his games on 5 days rest this year, he does have a 4.37 ERA, 1.25 whip, and he's giving up less than a home run per game, 0.95 home runs per game in those contests. So we look at the Cardinals side of the cap so far. We say last 9, they're 4-5 versus the Cubs, but they're minus 19 run differential. They're 2-8 last 10 at the Cubs, they're minus 41 run differential. Last 10 at the Cubs, in those 8 losses, they're 1-7 against the spread. We look at them in road day games, 7-9, but they're plus 1 run differential. They score runs. We look at them in their last 9 overall, they're 4-5, minus 8 run differential, only scoring 3.33 runs a game. And if we look at them against the division, they're 12-8, scoring 4.9 runs a game, plus 8 in the run differential department. But city to city seems to be a trouble for them. 0-3 this year, city to city with no rest. 0-3, minus 6 run differential. That's about minus 2 runs a game, even though in one of those games they did lose by 1 at the Mets. But they're scoring 5.66 runs per game in that split. And we look at Palante, a lot of good things going on for the Cardinals. They're 4-1 in his last 5 starts. They're 10-6 on the year when he starts. They're 5-1 when he starts on the road. The only hiccup is, again, when he starts during the day this year, they are 1-3, minus 5 run differential, and that's where Palante 4.96 ERA. So the 4.96 ERA in that split during the day is different than his road splits where he's 5-1. The Cardinals are 5-1 with a 2.72 ERA. So there's a mixed bag there with the Cardinals. 5-5 last 10. I think the line is pretty spot on considering the Cubs and what they did to the Padres yesterday at 23 or the day before yesterday. So in this game, the Cardinals are going to have no rest. The Cubs are going to have a day off in between home series to home series. I like that better than coming off the road and having a day off and then coming home. You've been at home, you're still comfortable, you had a day off, you beat the Padres. So you look at all those metrics, you tell me what you think when we get to this Cubs side of the cap. The Cubs 9-1 in their last 10 games, 26-17 at home. They're 15-9 in one-run games and 7-4 in extra inning games, so they're right there with the Cardinals. Okay, if we look at them in home day games this year, the Cubs are 14-9, plus 35 run differential. They're scoring 6.13 runs a game to 4.61 for their opponents. They've scored 5+ 12 times in their 23 home day games this year. Their opponents have scored 5+ only 8 times. So they're +4 in that department there, scoring 5+ runs in home games this year. If we look at them in their last 9 games, they're 8-1, plus 39 run differential. So we looked at their home day games, 14-9, plus 35 run differential. We look at them 8-1 last 9. They're scoring 8.11 runs a game. And again, that is kind of bolstered by the 23-3 win against San Diego the day before yesterday. But nonetheless, they're still scoring runs. And in their last 9 games, 4 over, 5 under. Okay, and they're scoring, like I said, 8.11 runs per game. And if we look at what the Cardinals are scoring in their last 9, they're scoring 3.33. So something to keep in mind there, food for thought. Against the division this year, The Cubs are slightly worse than the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 12-8 versus the division, and they're +8, whereas the Cubs are 10-10 against their division, -6 run differential, but they're still scoring 4.15 runs a game to 4.45 for their opponents. They swept Cincinnati, and they were swept by Milwaukee. So both these teams swept by Milwaukee. The Cubs swept Cincinnati, and the Cardinals also swept Cincinnati. So there's a couple things in common there. Now, the home-to-home series with one day off for the Cubs, they are 5-2 in their last 7 of this split before the All-Star break, +25 in the run differential department, 3 over and 4 under. So 5-2 in the last 7 for the Cubs, home-to-home series with one day off, 5-2, +25 in the run differential department. So if we look at their side and look at the Cardinals side, I just think the Cubs are playing hotter baseball. I think in this next part of the cap is really going to be able to decide what you think, because we're going to have David Peterson on the mound, and he is 41-36 in his career with a 4.30 ERA. And if we look at what he's done, he just came over from the Mets, and in his first game coming over from the Mets, he did have an 8-2 win. Only gave up 2 earned runs and a home run in 5 2/3. But if we look at what he's done on the year as a starter, his teams are 3-5, -26 run differential there, 1 over and 8 under in those games, and that's not really good. So he was doing a lot of bullpen work. He's only started in 8 times this year, and his teams are 3-5. They were all with the Mets in those instances, and again, he got his first win as a starter with the Cubs in his last outing. Where the Cubs did win 8-2, so they gave him some run support. But in all his starts this year, again 3-5. The Mets were -26 run differential, 1 over, 8 under. That total that's set today. 43 innings pitched. He's got a 7.11 ERA, a 1.58 WHIP. He's giving up 0.62 home runs per 9, and teams are just stringing hits against him. In 43 innings pitched in game starts this year, he's given up 57 hits, 34 earned runs, only 3 home runs and 21 walks. It looks like there's just traffic there, and they're stringing doubles, singles, against him, just driving runs in. It's not necessarily the home runs that are doing it. It's just the overwhelming inundation of hits that he's going against. Again, 7.11 ERA, and his teams are -26 run differential in his 8 game starts when he starts this year. Now, against St. Louis, he has a game and a game start. They were last year and this year, and he's given up. In 9 innings pitched, he's given up 9 earned runs, 14 hits, a couple walks, a couple home runs, and just not really something that's good. But in day games, it gets a little better for Peterson. In his last 32 games with 25 game starts in day games, 159.2 innings pitched. He's got 3.72 ERA, a 1.30 WHIP, and he's only given up a half a home run a game. So if we look at this game, guys, this looks like a clear under spot. I would want to take over that 10.5, but I just believe that if you look at some of these metrics that we're looking at between Peterson and Palante, both combined, their games are just not going over as much as they're going under. If I was to lean this game, it's really tough to say, but I just think Peterson, why would the Mets get rid of a guy that, just to give is he going to make a rebound? Again, who do you have faith with in this game as you listen to this report and said, who's got the clearer side? If we look at it, the Cubs are just swinging a hotter bat, and I think there's going to be runs scored here. I think Palante is going to give up runs, but I definitely think that Peterson, from the numbers we're looking at, are going to give up runs because his history versus the Cardinals and his history this year. Now, Palante, again, he does have a 4.96 ERA in day games this year. in 23 2/3. And if we look at him, but if you look at him on the road, the Cardinals are 5-1 when he starts, plus 16 run differential. You know what I'm saying? And they're 10-6 when he starts this year, plus 7 run differential, where he's got a 3.83 ERA and a 2.72 ERA on the road. The day it goes up. But if I'm looking at this game, guys, Wager Detective is calling the Cardinals here. I'm going to give you a little bit of that plus money action today. Let's see what it is. Let's take a look. Let's dalliance, if we shall, over here and see what this line might be looking at if we get cooperation from the phone. Okay, so you're getting Palante and the Cardinals plus 108. The things that stand out to me for the Cardinals is they're going to get no rest. They're 0-3, in that split this year, -6, losing 8-9, losing 3-5, and losing 6-9. I just feel like with that day off, I think momentum can kind of get skewed there. You just beat a team 23-3, like the Cubs. You got a new pitcher that just started with you last game, and he had a good win. He's won 8-2 when he came, his first game with the Cubs as a starter. But if you look at Peterson as a whole this year, there was a reason why they probably got rid of him. He's just giving up too many runs. I think the Cardinals can hit. They've shown it. And I think Palante will do it just enough for them to win. And I like the fact that I'm getting plus money. I'm not laying the -126 juice. So there's the call. Wager Detective calling the St. Louis Cardinals to win this game plus 108. And then as far as the over-under, I'd like to say over. There's a lot of talent on both these teams. You got Herrera, Walker, Burleson, but you look at that lineup for the Cardinals, and it really, the Cubs, and it really looks tempting to take them, but I'm going to call the Cardinals here. Wager Detective calling the Cardinals. And if you look at it and you're gonna say, it gets to the bullpens, it could be a problem, but I'm going to call the under here. Just too much leverage towards the under, and that's the call here. July 3rd, 2026, Wager Detective calling the St. Louis Cardinals to beat the Chicago Cubs and the game to go under 10.5. Follow Wager Detective on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, comment on all platforms. And more than anything else, guys, know that Wager Detective loves all his fans, and let's go Cardinals. I'll talk to you soon.